Guys, this is JCoop with Good Goodies. I want to talk about stress, anxiety. Not to give it power, because to give those types of things thought can manifest them. It gives them power. Anything you think will manifest. That goes for good stuff too. But just real quick to address the fact that stress is a phenomenon that kind of grabs onto itself, right? Like I said, the more you experience something, the more it becomes part of you. And so oftentimes if things aren't going well, we can get caught up in that, and it's real easy to just, if you're stressed about one thing, start stressing about another thing that's totally unrelated. But if your mind is just kind of on that path, it's gonna just be doing that, This is actually a good podcast to do this on. I mean, it's starting to snow. There's something on the bottom of my car that's like dragging. It's been doing it for a while. I should probably fix it. It's a bit chaotic, but what to do in this type of situation? If you react with stressful reaction, annoyed or angry, or something like this, you're strengthening that part of your brain. You're bringing power into that part of your thought. And then something else could happen that could go either way, and you're more likely then to be stressed about that. When just yesterday, if it would have happened, you would have been totally cool with it and just rolled with it. So you don't want to do it ever. You want to have the least amount of that as possible and cut back on it wherever possible, because like I said, it's self-replicating. Like if you see a piece of mold on fruit, if it's just localized, you can just cut that piece off, and you cut it off right away, because if you let it sit there, eventually you can't eat any of the fruit, right? So because it will spread, it's going to self-perpetuate. So therefore, if you see it, cut it. Now, easier said than done, because like I said, it feeds on itself. So sometimes when you get into like a funk, or you're not feeling well, it can just feed it and make itself stronger and stronger. It can become like a storm. So that's why it's best to make the measures when you can to try to pull yourself out of that. How? Sometimes we don't know which way is up. Well, no matter what, something's going okay, alright? You can always look to something, and that one thing that you can prove right away is okay and it's with you, is that you're breathing. Oh man, my car isn't where I parked it, and I'm gonna be late now, and just the events leading up to that were so terrible. I can't catch a break. The more you think that way, the more you'll keep thinking of bad things like that, and it'll perpetuate bad feelings. But the second you say, oh, but it's all good because it's not like I can't breathe, and then you look at your breathing. No, my breathing's fine. Actually, you may look at it and notice I'm tensing my stomach muscles or holding my breath high in my chest. Something like that, it's like, oh, my breathing actually is being affected too by this. And then you can say, okay, well, that I know I can control. Let me just go to that one, because it's the most important thing. It's way more important than water. Like, how high up is that? That's pretty high ranking right there. But go to that and say, okay, now let me breathe correctly. Let me start there. We'll take it to square one and start there and then build from there. And then what you'll find, if you take a few seconds to get your breathing correct and slow and under control and into your stomach, and enjoy the air and the fact that you can breathe, because one day you won't be, you might find that it takes a few seconds, and then you can build from there, and the next thing becomes a lot easier. You look at it in a much better way, and you can end up looking at your whole situation in a much better way, because as you came down to the root. You got yourself grounded with the breath. Give that one a shot. It's good goodies. With the remedies for what ails. Stay well. Love you guys. See you on the other side.